Quarter life crisis? What's that? Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, The Mirror Image Org. My name of course is Catherine Simone and today we're talking about quarter life crisis. Before I get into the subject though, I need you to go down and hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like and share this video with anybody who might need this information. Now let's get into it. So what is a quarter life crisis? Well, when I searched the internet, I found that it is anxiety over a person's direction or quality of life. Usually it's experienced in the mid-20s to mid-30s time frame, hence the term quarter life. And more recently, it's really shown its weight in millennials. And the reason for that is because as a younger generation, we're starting to question more what's going on around us. Most of our parents didn't hit this block until like midlife crisis. So they would get to like their late 30s, early 40s before they start to feel like life was incomplete. But we are starting earlier and earlier now based on the experiences we have with adults and the change of atmosphere. Our generation is looking to explore and love life in that time frame that our parents were dedicated to just working and maybe getting that 1 or 2 weeks off for vacation. It's a whole different mindset. So how did we get here? And how do you know when you're facing a quarter life crisis? The number one identifier is you find yourself struggling to get excited about pretty much anything. That's work, life, school, whatever, even friends. You find yourself lacking the joy of everyday functions or life that you used to find joy in. Everything kind of becomes mundane. And that's because you see yourself becoming a robot. Slowly and surely, you do the exact same things over time. You go to work, you go to school, you go home, you get dressed, you change, you do everything block by block by block. There's no excitement, there's no joy. It's just the mundane experience of it all. So it's hard to get excited about life if everything is just routine and nothing ever spontaneously happens. So pay attention to this, because if you continue down this path, you're going to find yourself in reason number 2, which is you find yourself being exhausted in your life. And let me explain a little bit what I mean by that. It's kind of a combination of 2 things. 1, you're unmotivated, of course, but 2, you're actually physically exhausted. Your body just wants to sleep. You probably watch a lot of TV at this point or just sit around listening to music. That thrill and the idealism that you had about what could happen next in the world is kind of diminished in a sense. Instead of feeling like the world is your oyster, you just kind of don't do anything. You sit and you stew. And that can lead you to missing out on a lot of amazing things because you just don't feel motivated to try them or do them at this point. And if you find yourself hitting this point, then you need to be mindful of the fact that you're getting closer to the 3rd point, which is you start to have physical pain or discomfort. Remember back in like my 2nd video that I've ever posted on this channel, 2 sides becoming one? I talk about the mind being a powerful tool and how it dictates so much of our lives. Well, stress on the mind can also cause stress on the body. And not only do you start to feel exhausted, but you can actually start to feel pain because 1, you're unmotivated and you're stressed, you're exhausted. All of these things are starting to happen all together. And then the next thing you know, you might feel some discomfort in your lower back or start to get headaches or dizzy spells because the anxiety is building up. Your mind has taken on that stress and it trickles down to the rest of your body, and we don't even notice that that's what's happening right away. But it's happening, and it's happening because we're not dealing with the issues that we're having with not knowing what we want to do or where we want to go. We've fallen into the mundane and it's stressing out these key areas of ourselves: mind, body, and soul. And then that leads you to the 4th step or realization that you might be going into a quarter life crisis. And that is you find yourself less excited about the future. Now, I want you to take the time to really listen to this point because it can go one of two ways. Some people start to feel like there is no tomorrow. And I'm not necessarily talking in terms of suicide, although it does present itself like that to some people. Some people internalize this and become suicidal. And if this is an issue that you're dealing with, then I need you to stop this video immediately and call 800-273-8255 and talk to somebody who could definitely help you with these thoughts. If you don't feel comfortable calling, then there's always a suicide prevention hotline, and I have that link down in the description below, and you just click on that and you chat online versus having physical conversation. But whatever it is, make sure you're talking to somebody about this because you don't want it to be suicidal. For everyone else who might not actually be feeling suicidal, what you're actually feeling is disconnected to a possibility of a better future. And that's a horrible feeling. The mundane can get you into a place where you're just like, what's the point? Nothing's ever going to change. I can't even get excited about applying for that job because they're not going to hire me. I'm not going to step out on faith and do something brand new or different because it's not going to mean anything in the long term. That kind of thinking is the worst. Of course, it's just piling on top of all the other things that I've talked about, and it's a big stretch out of that depression. See, what I need you to understand about quarter life crisis is that it's a crisis. It might not be the worst thing you ever go through, but it's something that you can go through that slows you down, beats you up, and make you step away from just dreaming and being exciting in general. So if you cannot get excited about your future or even start planning your future because you feel like nothing's going to go your way anyway, you need to take a step back. Lastly is my fifth point, and that is you just stop spending time with friends and families or any extension of that, which honestly is being on your social media if that's what you like to do, going out to the movies if that's what you like to do, hanging out from time to time at parties if that's what you like to do. We all have that one friend, that one person in our lives that no matter what we're going through, they can always at least pick us up and get us outside. And if you find yourself like disconnecting from that person too, like there's nothing that they can do either, then you're really, really struggling with this. And it's getting worse. That is a defining moment because not only have you disconnected from your work experience or just the joy you can find in the things you want to do, you can't even find joy in people who love you that you love. And there's something to be said about that. When you find yourself exhibiting any of these 5 steps, you need to pay attention. But if you find yourself exhibiting at least 4 or 5 of them, even 3, you need to start reevaluating. In this video, I only want to talk about paying attention to these steps. But in the next video, I want to talk about what you can do to change this attitude and to get yourself back on the right path. So if you want to know more, please come back for the next video, which will be next week. But if you can't wait that long, that's fine. Reach out to me via email and let's start a dialogue, because I don't want you to have to go through a quarter life crisis where you start to lose all hope and then you eventually end up in a depressed path that leads to suicidal thoughts. And again, if you're in that place and you're dealing with those thoughts, I need you to call 800-273-8255 or go to the suicide prevention website that I'm going to link below and talk to somebody. But if it's not quite there and you still feel like there's hope, but you just need a little bit more direction, you have 2 choices. Check out my next video or reach out to me via email, Instagram, whatever, and let's start a dialogue to get you on a better path. Thank you so much for joining in again on my channel. I'm so happy that you guys keep coming back. And again, reach out if you have any questions. I love you all. Have a great day. Bye.